Hello students, we are discussing the lesson of geography, agriculture. We already discussed the different activities which people of India undertakes during the monsoon season, in the Rabi season and Zaid season. So agricultural practices in India are very important to contribute the national economy and to increase the GDP of the country, which is very important in today's scenario. In agriculture lesson, we discussed that two-thirds population of the country is depends on agriculture. Even most of the raw material for the manufacturing industries also comes from agriculture. So therefore, agriculture is considered a backbone for the nation. Agriculture is also considered an important primary sector to carry out the developmental activities in different sectors. Therefore, it is very essential to look towards the agriculture. It is very essential and it is our very important duty to make the reforms in the agricultural regions which are not suitable for the farmers. Even most of the farming activities in India are also dependent on the monsoon, and monsoon is irregular. There is no regularity in the monsoon, which causes a lot of damage to the crops in different parts of the places. Even in our Gadchimali area, there are no irrigation facilities. So therefore, once the monsoon crop is harvested or over, there 5 to 6 months land remains without any types of cultivation of crops. Therefore, the standard of living and the income of the farmers are not increasing, and therefore many farmers they commit suicide due to depression and due to damage to the crops. That is why it is important for all of us to look critically and to look seriously towards the agriculture, because if agriculture survives, then other sectors survives. If agriculture becomes very prosperous, if agriculture survives, then it is important for us to live very peacefully, and it is very important to think about the agricultural practices and reforms and reformation in agriculture. Because in current days, the agriculture of the country has undergone various severe problems. Even there are many people who are landless, and the people who do not know about the farming. They have thousands acres of land, means they own thousands acres of land, but people who are cultivating the different types of crops, they do not have land. If they have, it is very less than 2 hectares or less than 1 acre, and some people are landless people. So therefore, agriculture is very important sector in our country. It is our duty to protect and to make the land reforms in agriculture sector. Because to feed the large number of population, it is important to give priority to the agricultural crops, and cultivation of different types of crops should be given priorities to meet the demands of this large population. Therefore, we up to this time we have discussed the different types of crops, types of farming, then cropping season, Rabi, Kharif and Zaid, then food crops, major food crops other than grains, non-food crops, etc. Now today we are going to look towards technological and institutional reforms. It is important for the government to take necessary efforts to improve the agricultural practices, to improve the agriculture, Indian agriculture, so that the agriculture should become a prosperous sector to feed the entire country, take it as the secondary sector, primary sector, tertiary sector. So, what technological and institutional reforms are necessary for the Indian agriculture is an important concern here. So, let us discuss in detail what are the technological and institutional reforms. You know that Indian agriculture is not very much improvised, because many people are still practicing without modern inputs and modern techniques. Then many farmers are also depends on the monsoon for their different types of crops. So therefore, and monsoon is irregular. Government has not given complete attention towards the agriculture. Therefore, many farmers are not up to the mark. Many farmers are not in profit by cultivation of different types of crops in their agricultural area. Therefore, it is decided that there should be some measures to improve the land. There should be some measures to bring about the reforms for the Indian agriculture. They are collectivization, consolidation of holdings. There are many people who owns thousands acres of land, as we earlier discussed. So these thousands acres of land should be distributed among the landless people, should distribute among the farmers or peasants who owns very less land, but they have very much interest to cultivate different types of crops. So collectivization means the land should be collected and to be distributed among the landless people. Consolidation of holdings, land holding size should be decreased, and there are large number of people, large population segment is there in the country who don't have land at all. So these people should be given land. So therefore, consolidation of land holdings means people who consolidate land in huge amount. There should be some restrictions to consolidate land holding size. So then, cooperation and abolition of zamindari. Zamindari means that's landlordism. Landlord who possess huge amount of thousands acres of land, 1,000 hectares of land, they are called zamindar or landlord. So abolition of zamindari system can reduce the gap between rich and poor. Why there is very much inequality in terms of economic or economic sphere? Because there are people who owns thousands acres of land, but there are people on the other hand they are landless people. So therefore, it is considered here as an institutional reform that zamindari system should be abolished, and cooperation within the government and the landless people and zamindar should be established to bring about the land reforms for the Indian agriculture. Then it was also a focus. The land reform was also initiated during our first 5-year plan. The first 5-year plan, which was launched after in Constitution came into effect. In this first 5-year plan, there was a major concern of land reform, because most of the lands were unfit, rocky. The land was captured, or encroachment was there. So, and there were no irrigation facilities at all. So therefore, roads were not there to enter in the agricultural area. Therefore, in the first 5-year plan, land reform was the major factor which government gives importance. Then green revolution and white revolution were also important strategies which central government had announced, and it was also implemented in different places. For example, green revolution was specially famous in Punjab and Haryana. In green revolution, there are 4 things. Number 1, HYV seeds, high yielding variety seeds. Second, modern methods of farming, that is tractors, thresher machines, cultivators, etc. Then chemical fertilizers and pesticides are used. Then irrigation facilities are established. Then all these 4 things are brought together to enhance the yield per hectare is known as green revolution. So green revolution was highly succeed in the Punjab and Haryana state, and it increased the production of wheat. White revolution, which is also known as Operation Flood, this white revolution is to increase the milk, and milk production was the priority in Gujarat and other states in the country. So white revolution and green revolution were also some of the important strategies which government of India initiated to improve the Indian agriculture. Then there were some facilities were given to the farmers from first 5-year plan, gradually step by step. First of all, provisions of crop insurance against drought, flood, fire, disease, and different types of natural and man-made provisions against the drought, flood, fire, disease, and various types of problems which naturally or man-made occurs and they damage the crops. So government has announced crop insurance against this type of natural calamities. Second, the government also established Gramin banks and cooperatives. Cooperatives were established in various villages, and these cooperative societies gives loans to the farmers at less rate of interest, low rate of interest. Because if there is high interest rate, farmers cannot take loans because repayment of loan is not possible. So if the harvest is not done in proper way, or if harvest is failed, if crops are failed, then repayment of loan becomes very difficult for the farmers to the bank. Therefore, cooperative societies and Gramin banks were established in different places, villages and talukas level to give and to extend loans to the farmers at low rate of interest. Gramin bank means students you might be knowing in Gadchiroli, where you deposit your school fees. The Vidarbha Konkan Gramin Bank is a type of Gramin bank. So these type of Gramin banks and cooperative societies are established in India to improve the Indian agriculture and to improve the conditions of the farmers and to protect the farmers from money lenders. Then KCC, that is Kisan Credit Card. Kisan Credit Card like ATM card was also given to the various farmers. By using Kisan Credit Card, they were getting the seeds, fertilizers, pesticides at subsidized rate. Subsidized rate means low rate. Government gives some amount of money and some amount of money farmers or peasants have to pay. So Kisan Credit Card was an important initiative of the government to introduce and to improve the Indian agriculture. Then PAIS, Personal Accident Insurance Scheme. Suppose any farmers, the farmers who are working in the farm and there was heavy rain or there was lightning, thunderstorm and many things are going on. So while working in the farms, if suppose there is sudden death of the farmers or peasants while working that time, if the head of the family is died, then entire family becomes helpless. So during that condition, government also announced Personal Accident Insurance Scheme, which is known as PAIS, to improve the condition of farmers. Then special weather bulletins, you might have also seen or heard. The Sakar Newspaper Limited publishes Agro-One special magazine which gives the details of the farming activities, the soil type, climatic condition and various things regarding various types of crops in weather bulletins. So special weather bulletins like Agro-One were started by the government to improve the Indian agriculture and to give first-hand experience to the farmers how to cultivate crops, how to give pesticides and fertilizers, and in which condition they have to cultivate the crops. So entire things were given in the weather bulletins, and these weather bulletins were made available for many farmers in different places. Another, and some agricultural programs were also started on radio and television. For example, I would like to tell you that there was even today there might be the program on TV, Amchi Mati Amchi Mansa. This program was completely dedicated to the farmers and agriculture. Even on the radio, there were different types of programs which were started for making awareness among the farmers. So in this way, government has brought about different types of technological and institutional reforms to improve Indian agriculture. Then government also announced MSP, that is minimum support price. You already studied in standard 9. Minimum support price means government announced minimum support price before the harvest so that farmers should encourage to produce more and more. They should look after towards their crops seriously and take its care very honestly, so that the agricultural production should increase, agricultural production should boom in order to earn higher profit. So government before the harvesting it announced minimum support price and also remove the middleman improve the farmers' condition. So in this way, these two, 1 and 2 are institutional reforms, and these from 4 to 8, these are technological reforms. So in this way, technological and institutional reforms are very essential to improve Indian agriculture. But I want to ask a question here, that after introducing all these things by the government of India, do the condition of farmers has been improved? What are the problems even today most of the farmers are facing? You yourself explore and write one paragraph in your notebook to find out what are the problems of the farmers even today, even after introducing this lot of schemes. So last part we discuss again, that is Bhudan movement. Bhudan movement. Bhudan. Now, you know that Mahatma Gandhi's dream was to bring the self-government in villages. The government in villages should be ruled by the people. People should themselves rule in the villages. They should become the decision makers in the villages. So, Mahatma Gandhi's very important disciple was Vinoba Bhave. Vinoba Bhave. Vinoba Bhave decided after the death of Mahatma Gandhi. After the death of Mahatma Gandhi, Vinoba Bhave decided to undertake Padayatra. Padayatra means going in different places by feet. So Vinoba Bhave undertook a Padayatra to convince and insist zamindars, landlords, to donate their lands to landless people. Even Vinoba Bhave was also realized that he has to bring the dream of Mahatma Gandhi in different villages by making awareness. So once Vinoba Bhave was giving a lecture at Pochampalli, Andhra Pradesh, and after lecture, after his guidance to the farmers or landless people, some people started demanding, landless people started demanding the land. But Vinoba Bhave did not give immediate assurance to them. But he told them that Vinoba Bhave will talk to the government in this regard. Meanwhile, one of the landlord stood up and offered 80 acres of land to be distributed among 80 landless people. So this one of the Reddy, he stood up in that meeting and offered 80 acres of land to Vinoba Bhave's movement to be distributed among 80 landless people. So in this way, gradually then Vinoba Bhave, inspired by this incident, and he travelled extensively throughout the country, convincing many landlords to donate their lands for this movement, Bhudan movement. Bhu means land and Dan means donation. So landlords who possess thousands acres of land should donate their land to the landless people, okay, to make the entire mankind happy. So in this way, this Vinoba Bhave's movement is gradually came to be known as Bhudan movement. And gradually, when Vinoba Bhave travelled extensively throughout the country, he also convinced many landlords and big farmers to donate their land. And after this convincing, many landlords and big farmers decided to donate the villages to rule by the farmers. So this movement is also known as Gram. That villages were donated by the zamindars, by the landlords to the Vinoba Bhave's movement. This movement is also called Gram movement. So in this way, many landlords in India started giving their land to the landless people, to this movement. So this movement is known as Bhudan movement, and then many villages were also given in the donation to rule by the farmers. This is known as Gram Gramdan. So this Vinoba Bhave's movement, Bhudan and Gramdan movement, became very successful in his period, and therefore these two movements came to be known as bloodless revolution. Bloodless revolution means without shedding a single drop of blood. Vinoba Bhave undertook and initiated a very super and very important movement which is known as Bhudan and Gramdan, and which is known as bloodless revolution. So without violence, he very systematically planned and asked the landlords to donate their lands to this movement. So this movement is known as Bhudan movement or Gramdan movement. So I hope you have understood this particular part very well. Read the lesson once again and try to find out, explore more aspects of this Indian agriculture and what current problems are going on and what current problems farmers are facing. This year there is no very much rainfall. There is monsoon season is not very much active in our area. What problems are farmers are facing? If these problems continue to operate in the future, if government is not looking towards agriculture very seriously, then what problems can arise in the future and how our life will get affected? All these things you have to find out and explore more. So remaining part we will see in the next period. Thank you.